Afrofish OG. What is going on, everyone? We're back for another episode of Afro in the Know. Forgive me, my voice is not doing well. Still sick, all that other good stuff. It happens. It's life. So sorry if I sound like I'm just fresh off the Pineapple Express, but I'm not. Anyways, I got Hero Dre here from HERODREGAMING. Man, this is my special guest today. I'm excited. How are you doing?
Man, I'm feeling blessed. I'm excited. First time doing this kind of interaction, so it's great to know. Thank you for inviting me on this thing. I feel blessed.
Awesome. And that's the one thing I personally love is with the Afro in the Know. It's I always want to give shout outs and just learning from people from all over different kind of industries, and gaming is a big one of them because we all make a portion of how this fucking community runs. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
Sure.
I'm not gonna sit back a little bit about myself here and not talk about myself. And I want to hear about you. Like that's why we're here today. We hear about you, where you started and all that. So I mean, if you want to give a bit of synopsis, like where'd you even get the Hero Dre even from?
Literally, I was just bored one day. And don't let me backtrack. I love video games. I've been playing it for all my life. Ever since I remember, I had the Sega. That was my first system. Amazing system. Wish they brought it back. But I always loved games, and I play with my close friends, online. But I happened to move away, so I was originally on the East Coast. Now I'm down in Texas, so I'm kind of away from my friends more. So we game even more because that's how we communicate and talk and all that kind of stuff. And that's how me, bring everybody together, just online gaming. And then I just had a thought like, hey, I have this passion. Why not I use this to try to meet other people that have the same passion? So I wanted to make a channel. Now, the whole naming, I went through a couple of names. I wanted to power up. It was just random stuff. I thought I put in Chat GBT, just get some naming, and that was terrible. So so I was like, all right, what I bored down what I'm trying to be. I'm just the average gamer. I work all day. When I come home, I want to try to just game and all that stuff. And I love RPGs. So I was thinking, I like being the hero of the story. So I'm thinking hero, that'd be great. And just use my name. That's where we get Hero Dre from. So very simple, very easy. I think it's easy to remember. But yeah, I've only been doing this social media thing for like couple months now. I think like only a couple. Started last year. It's just something I wanted to try out. And again, I don't have any major goals. Like I don't want to replace my full-time job. It's just something I want to do and show and meet other people who loves games like I do, especially RPGs.
That makes sense. Like been down there, we got a hero.
Trying to be, at least. Trying to be.
No, that's absolutely true. And I think that's the big part. Like a lot of people, it's for just the connectivity.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to connect, being able to just reach out, because gaming is something that is, I mean, it's huge now. It's way more people connect through that than I'd probably say. Sometimes it's just talking.
Right.
It's crazy.
It's easier. It's easier. I mean, like you said, unfortunately, we went through COVID. So, we had a cutoff from a lot of people. So they then lean more into social media and get more familiar with talking to people. I honestly met my wife through online, like an online dating site. So that's how, everybody's so used to online. So to me, that's kind of like almost like the first choice since I'm away from my friends online. I mean, it just makes sense.
No, that's fair. That's because that's the same way. I met my wife same way, online dating, and it's nice. I mean, obviously, it's the conveniency, as long as you're authentic. But like,
right.
I've heard those horror stories of online dating, and I'm just, oh my goodness. But it is like, and I think it's only gonna just keep on expanding. It's just like you said, then now you got, we have AI, which I've heard people use AI to try to set up like messages, like first starter messages.
That's crazy.
No, yeah. Like I'm like, could you imagine just being like reading through like, hello, human woman, I am here.
No, they're getting smarter now. They actually kind of sound like real humans, which is scary. That's why I'm glad I'm married now. I can't imagine now what they're doing, because they spent all this technology on AI. Now it's just crazy what they can do.
Until they, I mean, the best part is until they have to go and meet them and you realize they can't hold a sentence.
Oh, exactly. That's the downfall at that point.
Oh, I mean, so many people like that. Where it's just you just look at them, you're listening, you're like, don't seem right. But no, it's with speaking of AI and stuff, I think AI is going to be a part of just our whole technology. It's going to be a part of everything. I mean, we're seeing it in we're going to see bits and pieces of it in video games. We're going to see it in anime. We're going to see it in pretty much everything. My question is, and that's the one I think to you. I want to hear your opinion on this. Do you think AI we'll start just seeing full AI games at this point? I don't.
Yes, I think so. Just because my background, I have degrees in technology and all that kind of stuff. I think it won't happen anytime soon, but I think that's the path we're going. You can only do so much. You still need human interaction and all that. But with AI, the stuff you can process, like your thoughts, they can make it so fast and simple. Like a great idea for an AI game for me is, like I love playing RPGs. What if we have something where they're constantly creating new quests, constantly like new DLC, new things, make everything random. Like you brought up anime, a great thing. Like say we actually had like a solo art online or something like that, actual game like that, where it just constantly keep growing and all that. It's hard for us as humans to do that. That will take a lot of time for us to code and all that kind of stuff. AI will help shorten that time frame and make everything possible. So I think it will happen. I don't think it will be completely taken over, because there's some things like AIs can't really understand, and that's the human emotion. No matter how much coding you have and all that, you still need that human emotion, and that's how we connect to games nowadays. That's I love that. Like Mass Effect, my favorite game ever. Love it. Didn't like the ending, so we're gonna skip Mass Effect 3, but Mass Effect 2 was perfect. Mass Effect 2 was perfect, and I still play that to this day. And I can't imagine a better story for Mass Effect 2. And if I know AI can help out, with the, make upscale it, maybe add more quests, it'd be great. But that human interaction with the companion, the voice accent, it's just you need that. So, but to answer your original question, yes, I think AI gaming might be a good thing.
I can see it in a lot of puzzle type games. You know what I mean? Like puzzle games, dungeon crawlers. Then because the whole bringing like randomization would be really nice for that. Yeah. I can't think of a different game off the top of my head, but the puzzle ones are the first ones that comes to mind, because those are the ones that always seem like any kind of escape. Like, I love escape room games.
Yes.
Like those ones. I'm playing Escape Academy.
Okay.
Have you ever played that?
No, I never.
It's fun. It's good. It can be really tough. Maybe I'm just not the smartest, but like I'm just, but
Come on now.
It's one of those where I'm sitting there and I'm just like, guess I'll just die. but yeah, it's a really fun one. I would highly recommend it if you get a chance. They have like 4 DLCs, I think. And some of them are Jack, that's rude.
Oh, I see it.
And some of them are like not co-op, like versus. And I was like, oh, an escape room, I would totally play that.
That would be kind of cool, actually. I will lose that on 9 times out of 10, because I'm the guy that need all the hints and plus some.
No, exactly. And that's why I was like, if I can play like a multiplayer escape room with like the randomization of different rooms and stuff, then I think I could see that being amazing. Obviously we had the voice actors, and that was a big thing. And that is something myself I also really, I'm very much pro those voice actors getting the jobs,
Mm.
not just trying to use AI. I do believe that's a very much of a corporate greed kind of thing.
Okay, I agree with that.
And my question is, what your thoughts on that as well?
No, you definitely need voice actors. It's that human element. Again, you can sound like me, but I need that emotion behind it. Like again, a long time ago, I tried to use AI voice in some of my videos. It just didn't sound like me. It just didn't sound right. And you need that connection. That takes something that's okay to great. A great example, Expedition 33, that just came out. Love that game. I beat it. Now I'm trying to beat it again. And that voice acting alone is powerful. You know, that it's not a big story. It wasn't made by a lot of people, but that one story, so it hooks me for life. So, and
Mm.
that's, I have to give props to the voice actors, because again, it could have been bad. It could have been bad, but they really brought the game to life.
No, yeah, definitely. And like I said, there's something you just can't you can't take away from it.
Mhm.
And yeah, Expedition 33 was so good. Like,
It's amazing. I'm trying to get my
like
wife into it, but she can't.
I
She don't like
actually,
it.
funny enough, I actually felt bad for I felt bad for what game was it? Or the Oblivion remake, the
Really?
remaster, because it came out like 2 days before Expedition did, and then I never heard people talk about it. Um Holy shit. Sorry, my wife is um
No, you good. Now, I do want to talk about that. For remakes, I mean, I'm glad they did a Oblivion remake, because we had what 20 different remakes for Skyrim and all these different editions.
mhm,
It is bad timing, but also, I mean, it's a remake. It's the same game, a little bit nicer, cleaned up a little bit. I mean, I bought it, I played it, I made a video about it. It was fun, but nothing's making me go back because I experienced that already. And that's another thing I'm thinking, like in the industry now, there's so many remakes or remasters that's coming out. Like, where's the original ideas like Expedition 33? I would love to see more games like that. That's why I think that's my game of the year right now, especially since Grand Theft Auto is getting pushed next year. Um, I,
mhm.
I like seeing original ideas, and I feel like we're slowly getting away from that with all the remakes and cash grabs, and that's something I don't like.
And I would say so. Where I'm always saying when it comes to the where gaming lies, right?
Mhm.
And I think for a lot of people, gaming only sits with them when it is the big AAA games that are up in their faces.
Okay.
Um, when these games are up in their faces, that's all they see. So the Assassin's Creed, the Call of Duties, the blah blah, the Maddens, you know.
Mm.
And so I say those games now are a bad representation of when people are searching for the, like you mentioned, creativity that people want in gaming. Not
Mhm.
saying that those games aren't creative. Um, but like um not saying that those aren't not creative, but I think the where it lies are the indie style games and the the obviously double A, I guess I would say, uh,
Right, yeah.
games that are you're not going to get noticed as much. And like for example, there's a lot of people who were kind of shit talking on the PlayStation's state of play that just came out a few days ago.
Mhm.
And why is Ghost of Yotai not in there? Why? Because Ghost of Yotai is a huge game that deserves its own state of play.
Right.
All these are games that are probably not going to get noticed nearly as much. So let's talk about them. So I think that's one of the biggest issues is that a lot of players don't look beyond their initial headlines or what they see in the first couple seconds. You
Mhm.
know, um, oh, if we did, let's say we got Resident Evil, because Resident Evil 9 just got announced, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
if you would have put Resident Evil 9 at the end of PlayStation and Sony's state of play, it would have been fuck everything else. Nobody
Yeah.
cares. It's Resident Evil 9.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, and I think that is where like us as and that's why I try to hold the accountability to us as gamers as well, because it is real easy and to an extent there is some truth to this. Um, the problem with developers, well, how we talk about the corporate and all that, right? But there's also a responsibility for us, I believe, as gamers who are like,
Mhm.
oh, this game is good. Let's say why it's good. Tell us word of mouth, because a lot of these smaller developers are going to be word of mouth. They're not going to be the big shoving, like what Madden can do, where they give you a advertisement, screen, advertisement, screen, advertisement. Like, have you played Madden 26 yet, bro? It's not even out. I know. Like, oh my God, did you? I saw that Madden. Sorry, I saw that Madden 26 was like, dude, we have new physics. Like, your players will slip in the rain, and it can actually affect. And I'm like,
I'm pretty sure they had a feature like that 5 Maddens ago.
Yeah, you've had that feature since like 2009. Like, the fuck.
But I think another thing is, like you said, we have the power, and the problem is we're still buying games like that. We're constantly buying it, and honestly, like if you think about it, Madden, every year we could just get a roster update and basically be the same thing. We really have to buy a new game, but we're constantly buying it. We're giving these companies like, hey, we talk bad about it, but we still will spend all our money on your game. And to them, they all what works best is the money. If we stop buying it or stop investing so much, then they will make a change. One of the my favorite games, Pathfinder. You ever played that?
No, I've not played. I played D&D, but I've never played Pathfinder.
So Pathfinder, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they got like for the second one, there was like a Kickstarter for it and all that. Like they had to literally grind for funding to get it, and that game is phenomenal. I play it so often. Honestly, I don't really beat it because every time I get to the end, I want to make another character. That's my problem. I always want to make another character and start over. But those kind of games, like where they're they scrounging for the money, they getting all that. You actually play it. You could tell the love for the game for it. Now when I see Madden or 2K or anything like that, it's literally the same game every year with maybe 1 or 2 tweaks, but it could be easily a DLC at that point. So I don't know. I think if we want to see a change, we start with our wallets. And we definitely want to talk about it, but it start with our wallets.
I agree. And I think with, like, for example, I know this year, I'm going to use Madden again. But this year, Madden potentially could lose the exclusivity license.
Yes.
So
I can't wait. Bring back 2K.
Bring back 2K. Yes, exactly. Bring back 2K. Well, I don't know. The way 2K is now, I don't know if I want to bring it back.
You're right.
But I think that's, and that's something I don't want to, like, the way that Madden is, and it kind of bothers me because it does feel lazy. But I think I've gotten to a point where I just expect this out of Madden games. I'm not saying that it's nothing I'm saying that they don't try, because I believe it's actually more from the uppers than it is from the devs who are just like, yo, I'm literally just working here. But like, I think that when it comes to, like, that's why I was so excited when college football came out.
I loved it. I actually loved it. I'm not gonna lie. I love it, and honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna buy the next one, but I'm still playing college football. Like, I don't like Madden, but college football I bought that day, maybe because it's been a long time. But ever since then, I love it.
College football kicked my ass when I first played it. Yes, I was like, okay, like, it was like the way that the cornerback, like, with Madden, you could get away with kind of lazy routes. You could get away with, like,
the
you can't in college football. Like, they will jump that route. Like, and I'm like, I had a 6 interception game last night, and I was just staring at the screen like, Jesus fuck. Like, and it was because I was playing Oregon. I'm playing Michigan.
Okay.
I was like, okay, I'll just run. I know this route. It's an out route. Run the out route. The guy, the outside corner, just cut and jumped the route, and I was like, it's about time I took an L.
Do you do the dynasty modes and all that stuff?
Yeah, I do dynasty. I do. I want to see some improvements to Road to Glory.
Okay.
I know that they're in the newest one. They're doing it where you can go from high school back into there, which I love that. But, like, to me, if you're gonna do high school, let me do one where I have to earn my way to get into these bigger schools. I like that a little bit more. And the big thing for me was also with the college football one, there was, when you're not playing, I don't like the fact that I just have to just sit there and press a button. Actually, AI would be really good where I actually have to take a test in order to actually increase my grade.
That would be great.
Yep. And then
I'll be mad when I fail it, though, but it'll be great.
Oh, yeah. Like, it'd be like, the fuck, this is philosophy. Like,
yeah, like, science. Come on now, I'm just trying to catch a ball.
And I think, give me that. Give me like random interviews
Mhm.
I think it'd be great. It's like having random interviews, so like it actually determines like if teams are more, because I think would be really cool is the interview process.
Mhm.
You know, random moments to see if I'm actually a good fit. Like, no offense to Shadur Sanders, I don't believe the shit at all. But if interviews
Right.
actually do play a part, I think that should be something that should happen in your games. You
Mhm.
know, if you were more arrogant, let's say your teammates, your teammates less likely to help or actually, or not help, but like they don't like you as much, so they actually can vote to bench you. Like, I don't want to play with this guy.
Or if you keep
Um,
messing up, like say you dropping the ball or throwing an interception, to keep me like, all right, let's stop. Let's get away from him or something like that. That'd be cool to have AI with, like your
oh yeah.
actual teammate, instead of just like a little gray, like, oh, he don't like you, but it doesn't really affect anything. Maybe his little
Mhm.
performance. I want to be like, if I'm a running back and this center don't like me, he don't actively try to block for me or something like that. It'd be kind of fucked up, but
Oh, it
that
would
would be
be.
more legit.
And I
That'd be
think,
more.
oh, and same with the coaches. Like, the coaches are like, yeah,
Mhm.
no, I'm pulling you. Like, you have,
Mhm.
let's say, like, you have a bad game, it's like 3 interceptions, and it's like, not, like, he's like, no, we're gonna have you sit for a quarter.
Mhm.
Like, and then he actually gives you an actively, like, what are we gonna focus on here?
Right.
Short throw, mid throw, something like that. Okay, and so he gives you that prep talk that gives you a small bonus, and then you get back into the game.
Right. Right.
So I think there's a lot you could do, but it's just whenever I look back at the big AAA titles, and I think as older I get, I just don't care about AAA titles anymore. It does. They don't hit the same. They don't hit me the same way as I did when I was younger, and I was like, oh my god, new Halo. You know, now it's
See,
like,
I feel like I agree with you. Back then, whenever new games came out, I was excited, new Madden, all that kind of stuff. Nowadays, maybe because I'm a little bit older gamer, I'm like, I know. Come on.
a boomer.
um, I just know that I'm gonna get disappointed. A great example: the latest Dragon Age.
Mhm.
I was disappointed. I love Dragon Age. I love the original Origins. Played that a lot. Second one I didn't really like. Third one won me back a little bit with Inquisition. I love that. I had a little hope, and then I actually played it, and I was like, it's not a super bad game. Like I was able to finish it, but I have not touched it since then. I think I deleted it off my system. And it's just I don't know. There's no I don't know. It doesn't hit the same. It just it doesn't make me feel anything. Like, yeah, it's I know the word is at stake and yada yada, but I don't know. I feel like they needed more time to let that cook a little bit more.
I think how people react. One of the things I'll definitely say is how people react to like a world at stake kind of game is very important. Like, the thing is,
Mhm.
I actually like Dragon Age Veilguard, but
Oh,
my
really?
issue, yes, but I've never played a Dragon Age. So like, I'm going
Um,
off the role of like I'm basing this game solely on its own. And I'm like, yeah, this game is just fine. It's good. But I think for the one thing I will give it definitely a knock for is there feels like there's no stakes.
mhm.
Like, everyone else is just kind of in this fun, cheery mood, even though the fact that the world could be torn in two, and that's something that, thanks Marvel. But it's always something that I think that because of it, there's a very big disconnect.
Mhm.
Because it's like, at some point you're like, dude, these aliens are literally going to just destroy. Like, imagine being like, you said, playing Mass Effect, and like, you got the Sovereign being like, oh, we're gonna destroy everything, and you're like,
Mhm.
well, that sucks. Anyways, I got pancakes the other day, and just
Yeah. It just oh yeah, I bought this nice suit at the store. Like it's nice.
yeah, and then
Um,
you just Sovereign's like, the fuck, like.
but I mean, I don't know, man. Like you definitely need to play the other Dragon Age, at least the first one. If you have
Yeah.
some time, play the first one. I feel like that's the best. That's the one you actually could be different races, not other than just human.
Mm.
Um, which that's where it started. I know the second one you had to be whoever you had to be human. That was very annoying. But not only they be different races, but you start off with different like intros. They had different intros of the game based on what you chose. Like you could have been an elf, a Dalish elf, or even like an elf that's in slavery. And it's like so many things. Like the consequences from there was great. I mean, again, the graphics now I can't hold a candle now. I'm not saying that, but the story itself, the companions, it's amazing. And then again, to see that progress, like you saw some of your choices transfer over to the second game and then also to the third. It wasn't as like massive, like say Mass Effect, but it's still worth the play. Again, like I said, the latest one, it's okay. If you look at it by itself, if it was a single game, I would say it's an okay game. Like you said, it's okay, but it just didn't hit the same for me.
And that's fair.
Yeah,
that's totally fair. And I've heard that a lot. Like a lot of games. This is what that's the same thing. Actually, is what I decided to take 2025 as a year of games that people kept saying that were bad, and then I would go back and be like, hey, are these games actually bad, or are they overblown and they're just not the greatest, but they're still playable? Like I finished Forspoken was the first one I did. The first one I did was Forspoken.
Oh, I love that game.
The game is it is actually pretty good. And I was like, this isn't nearly as bad as people are making it out to be. Like you guys are blowing this out of proportion.
I was wishing for more DLC. I'm mad that they killed the project and all that, but I loved that game. Every time I got off work, I was playing it. It's just the action of it was fantastic. I liked the different powers. I felt like the Avatar, and I love the Avatar. So I don't see why people hated that game that much.
And I even tried to give some credence showing like why people didn't like it at first. And I was like, I like Frey. Just Frey takes a while to get somewhere. And that was one of the big things for me. It felt like, yes, in some regards, I think it was made sense that, she doesn't trust anyone. She's just going and doing whatever. But I was also at the same time, I'm like, how guys would you find out if you found out you could pretty much just pick up fucking Earth and just throw it? Like
I'll spend the next couple hours just throwing rocks, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, I'm just throwing rocks. Like you telling me that I'm not gonna be like, excited as all hell. And I think there's nothing wrong with the game just being average. It doesn't stand out in any ways, but it's still like it was a decent time. And I still enjoyed myself by the time I was done. By the time I was like towards the end game, I was just throwing fucking lightning bolts and everything like crazy. But I feel like it was like games like Forspoken was one. Then I went to Dragon Age and I was playing through. I'm still finishing out Dragon Age. My only issue I have with Dragon Age is that the combat system is repetitive. The power system is very repetitive, and every enemy feels kind of tanky. So like
that's how to make it hard.
And it doesn't make it fun at all.
No.
Now I'm playing through Saints Row, the newest one that came out by Volition.
Tell me that I couldn't I bought it. I was so happy for it. And I think I got through like maybe 5 or 6 missions before. I don't know if I went to a different game or whatever. I just never went back.
That happens. And so I went to, and I was like, okay, let's see what this is about. And actually, as I played it, because I've never played 1 and 2, right? I never got a chance to play 1 and 2. I started with 3, and the new Saints Row feels like 3. And to me, I love 3. I love the separation. The thing that I have watched some gameplay of the original 1 and 2, and I'm like, nothing about this really stands out. It looks like GTA clone. It looks that
was the whole point. It's just
just generic GTA clone. But 3 and 4 is where I was like, okay, like I loved 3 just because of the fact of it's goofy. It's over the top. It doesn't take itself serious. They were like, hey, how much can we just let people do stuff? And I think that's what made it fun. It made it just a worthwhile experience. And then 4, you just give me fucking superpower. Okay, like
we're in the Matrix. Yeah. Just having fun.
Fuck it. Like I got the super jump and all that other kind of stuff out of the way, and I was like, this is fun. So when I went back to playing it, I'm like, this feels like 3. And I'd be like, no, I don't know how you could play this game. I'm like, because I don't want to play just a GTA clone. I want to play what makes Saints Row Saints Row, and 3 makes Saints Row Saints Row. Like
that's when I get the identity.
This is what this one is. It's fun. It's over the top, and I was like, it feels like a Saints. So to me, it was like, why are y'all bitching?
I think for me, the latest one, I didn't feel like I was in a game. It just felt like some type of after school club or something like that. And and that's what got me, because Saints Row 3, like I said, I love Saints Row 3. I still remember that one scene where you jump from the helicopter to go in the sky, the roof to attack that one person. I forgot his name, but it's playing that Kanye song and all that. Like I love that mission. Those some epic moments in that game, and I loved it. And just this newest one, I don't know. It just didn't feel like Saints Row to me, because again, I wanted that whole gang experience, but again, it just seemed like it was an after school club. Let's get together and do bad things or something like that. But
yeah, I can feel that. And that's where I think that's where I'm excited to see where this goes. Like, are these people gonna at the end of it gonna feel like the Saints from before? Because yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, Shandy could kick the shit out of all.
Yes.
You know what I mean? All of them. Maybe except for Nina. Nina seems like the one who's gonna end up being the Shandy of the group.
Probably.
You know, and then so I'm kind of interested to see, like, they're gonna ditch their like kind of nerdy personas and actually get actual, like, once they get the actual clothing for the Saints, I'm gonna be like, okay, now I see where I'm starting to feel it. But it's just I would admit though, some of the characters are a little hit and miss. Like, I'm like, what's this nigga doing with a bow tie? Like, I was like, bro, no, like. And I honestly, the fact of like, I got to do this, I got to pay off fucking rent. And I'm like, I'm honestly, I kind of like, especially in nowadays, I kind of find that a little funny, where it's like, why are you like stealing stuff? I got to pay rent, dude. And I'm like, well, with bananas being like $8 now.
Yeah, it's realistic,
Like,
let's talk about eggs.
To be realistic, but we're getting to the point where it's starting to become realistic. And so yeah, I think there's a lot of enjoyment in games they're just average.
So one thing I want to point up is, did you play the last Mass Effect Andromeda?
I have not. That is on my list though.
So I actually like the game. I'm not going, when it first came out, it definitely had some issues, especially with the facial expressions just being bland. But if you got past that and actually was playing it, it's a fun game. The combat is really fantastic. I like the fact that I wasn't tied to a single class. That's the main thing. Like, that's the main reason I kept playing other Mass Effect, because I wanted to be a biotic or a soldier or a tech person. This game, I can like mix the powers up. I can have, a biotic shield, but then still throw turrets and have grenades. And like, it's a fun game. It's fun. Yeah, it's really fun. I don't want to spoil too much. You haven't played it, but it's a fun game. Like, you have that freedom, and I feel like people didn't really give it a fair chance. They saw the memes and all that stuff about the faces, and they immediately like, oh, this is terrible. This is and also, to be fair, you go to a whole new galaxy, you don't really see that many new aliens, and that's kind of weird. But again, it's a solid game, and I wish they didn't give up on that so easily. If I remember correctly, as they was making a game, they pulled people off that to work on Anthem, which that's a whole nother story. I can get on Anthem, but
we can get on Anthem next, because I got words about Anthem.
Yeah, we definitely get to the next, but yeah, they pulled people off that to work on Anthem, because that was supposed to be their new project that take over everything, and you could tell like towards the end it looked like it was kind of rushing everything, and it kind of showed a little hints of how Mass Effect was, like your choices and how you do certain things will go back and help you towards the end. But I don't know, it's a great game. I wish they continue more, but definitely, if you're playing it, you get past that first part. I mean, they did updates and it looks better now, but once you get past that initial phase, you get actually into the combat. I really love the combat of it. That's the solid part. Companions are kind of hit and miss as well, but the combat was great.
That's definitely fair. And I think in Andromeda coming out, at like you mentioned before too, we're trying to do a sidestep kind of universe, game. This isn't going to tie into the main one at all. Maybe the next one that they work on, they do, because I know it might try to kind of tie into it,
right?
Which I don't mind that. I actually kind of like the fact of that concept of going off into a different part of the galaxy, away from the whole. I don't need another Reaper invasion kind of thing.
Right.
honestly, I feel like the next space game will be featuring, more than likely, at least in my view, I think it's going to feature Liara as the main head. You won't play as Liara, but she's now the one who kind of either runs, assuming that everything that happens in Mass Effect is canon. I think she's the next step up. You know what I mean? Like, she's that number 2, if not including Garrus.
Shout out to
Like,
Garrus.
they're gonna look for Shepard. They're gonna want to look for Shepard.
I mean, I see that, and I wish we got away from Shepard, because I feel like third game, I think it tied up everything in a bow, especially depending on what choice you picked. You know, I feel like everything tied up. I feel like we're ready for a new main character. It's just they have to do it right. You know, go back to how Commander Shepard was popular in the first place. Like, they made a compelling game where your choices mattered and really great companions. I think they got away from that with Mass Effect 4 Andromeda. I'm hoping, like, if Shepard comes back, great, you know, but make it organic, because the only way he can come back is if people chose that one option. Like, I know I did it. I chose the other 2 options at the end of Mass Effect 3 where he couldn't come back. So now you forcing me to pick the other option for him to come back. It better be for a good reason.
No, exactly. And I think that, you know, if it's I wouldn't mind the Mass Effect starting off with if we could do a creative player as before. Obviously, I'm sure you'll agree with this. Different races. I want to play as different races. I don't want to just play as human.
Krogan, please. That's all I want.
Krogan, Krogan, Asari, a Turian, a Grell would be fun.
Okay.
Grell, would be interesting, especially if you want to use more of an assassin type. You know, I think that would be cool. I mean, you don't have to have all of the races, obviously, but I think, you know, Krogan, human.
Geth would be interesting.
A Geth would be very interesting.
Just think about it. Honestly, I made a video about this recently. Like, I was talking about how you can be like, I was talking about different games with quirks and mutations and all, you know, pick a certain thing, but have negative effects. And I'm thinking, like, if you be a Geth, like, people would naturally distrust you. But maybe you have a, you know, extra ability to talk to machines and maybe get different answers or hack other things. You know, it could be a really good playthrough, but then the whole time people don't like you because you're a Geth, you know. So I think that'd be cool.
Depending on how because, you know, obviously, like, at the end of 3, you have the choice if your meters are high enough, you know, to save both. I mean, Legion sacrifices himself, but he saves the Geth. And I think that at that, because I hope that's like whatever canon, that's the canon ending. You know what I mean? That's the canon, what happens. And I think actually Corian would be an interesting one too. You could just probably, I don't even mind if I don't actually see the face underneath. We got to see what Talia looks like underneath in that picture, but I don't.
Disappointed.
There's nothing. It was just it was like they just found a JPEG and just like,
not even a good JPEG, because there was a bright sun now. Like, come on now.
Right, like, oh, okay. Because I went to her planet and all I saw was a dust bowl. So it was like, so I was like, yeah, no, this is stupid. Honestly though, Talia is my that was the one I romanced. So
really? Okay.
I loved. I think it's because, like, Talia to me is she's just cute. Like, she's just one where, when, you know, like, when you first meet her, sure, no, but like, she's kind of, you know, headstrong, let's go kind of thing. But when you meet her in 2, she just feels like she's matured a lot. She runs her own group now, like, all that, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, she feels like just more awesome, and I love the little dialogue in between when she's preparing herself, because she has to give herself all these, like, boosters and all that for it, and she's like all excited, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm excited too. Whenever this happens, like, something about her.
I think I played that game so many times. I think my favorite ones to romance was Jack from Mass Effect 2 and to go into Mass Effect 3. Okay. And 2, it was, you know, she was okay. You know, she hothead, not Not you. Sorry, I don't know you. But like again, she's a natural hothead, but she had a reason. She'd been experimenting on, they made her into this killing machine, and that's all she had to be. And breaking down those layers. So yeah, it was a strong. But for me, it was the Mass Effect 3. Like the transformation for her actually caring about the kids and the students at the Grayson Academy. I think it's Grayson. I might be wrong, but I just love the look. She went to the ponytail. I love the tattoos, and and then like with the DLC where she actually gives you a tattoo, and you're like, okay, why you give me a tattoo? And she's like, well, it's because if you're dying underneath a whole bunch of bodies, I can spot that tattoo and pull you out. And like she just started breaking down, crying. Like it showed me like where she was into where she is now. It's just phenomenal. And that's why I got to stop myself and keep romancing her when I try to do other playthroughs, because I know that moment's coming. So it just hits me different,
I love Jack. I thought she was awesome. Like, although I always thought the disconnect, there was always a little bit of disconnect between when she first shows up in 2 versus when you use her.
Right.
And because when she first shows up and just destroys those 2 tanks, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be awesome. And then I'm like, oh wait, I have to level her up. Like,
that's a problem with video games. I mean, they show a really amazing cutscenes where like the Asari is doing massive shields and stopping a whole bunch of bullets and all that stuff. But then when you get her, she throws one little warp, and the barrier is just for herself. And it's like, I mean, I get it because it's an overpowered ability, but I mean, don't show me that then,
No, exactly. And another one that character-wise that I really did like, and obviously, Garrus is bro. Like Garrus,
got to,
bro. But I think to me it was also the Promethean.
What is his name? I don't even use him, to be honest. I pick him up and then he just sits in the ship the whole time.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go with the Prothean, and I'm really gonna it's gonna bother me because I'm actually looking it up right now.
Because I'm trying to think it. Like, honestly, I don't
Jarvik.
Jarvik, yes.
Okay, I love Jarvik, honestly.
Really?
And yes, because he very much I love the whole thing of like, he was years and years and years ago. Like I thought that was crazy. And then waking up now and being like, shit, the Reapers are still going. And like, yes, is he, in some returns, is he in a way kind of racist and all that stuff? Sure, he is, but it also mentions, he's like, when you mention, I think it's the Solarians, and he's like, they could talk? Like, they could only eat like bugs when he met them. It's like, that's how old he is. It's not even a fact of being necessarily racist. Like, this is even in a time, you're in a, thousands of years of evolution that you have no clue about. And I think I wanted a lot from him. I liked his interactions with, Liara literally just going fucking nuts.
Right.
Like, that is a gold mine for her. One of them that I love the fact that the Protheans were the ones to teach the Asaris how to use biotics, and that's why I was kind of I was upset because there needed to be more. Liara should have had a full character breakdown when finding out that like your goddess was actually just a Prothean. Like,
well, you remember that I don't want to say he was, but basically he was an add-on character. He was DLC. You had to download it. So I feel like, again, if they got more time to cook, like they could have built that more. Like, again, like I now remembering the stories. Like I do remember when he was like, Slayers just eat bugs and sticks and all that stuff, and that Sar was barely learning how to talk, but when they all this stuff, like that's a cool feature, especially someone who survived the last cycle. But also I wanted them to do more with the Leviathans. If you remember that.
Oh my gosh, yes, the Reaper killer.
That was amazing. The fact that they built it and then first of all, how they hide for so long. That's I wanted to cross that because you telling me these smart AI never thought to look in the ocean for the creators because they built like squids, but again, that's another thing. But that's another thing. But I mean, it was a great story, you know. And I feel like again, if they had more time to cook, like the last DLC, the Citadel DLC, actually all the DLC for Mass Effect 3 was amazing. The Omega DLC was amazing. You got to saw a female Torian for the first time, which I'm mad it took that long to see one, but you know, and of course she dies, so you know, natural. But all the DLC cooked to me, and that showed me like they was working on something really really great. I think that's another reason why people was disappointed with the fourth one, because you go from Mass Effect 3 and have all this good stuff minus the ending to Mass Effect 4 where you know the story wasn't the best. I feel like they focus on combat and then they add the story.
Yeah, and I think you know it's also it kind of leads into like you mentioned before. You don't think that Andromeda is actually a bad game. It could also just be the timing of coming out after such a powerful game such as Mass Effect 3. And you know, like you mentioned too, that with Andromeda they were pulling because they were working on Anthem, you know, and Anthem makes me very mad.
It should.
It does. It should because I actually like Anthem. Like I can go back and replay it and just fly around, and it's a good like I use it for like background when I do my videos and stuff. And the game's not bad. It's still fun. There's still some fun stuff to be had to it. Yeah, it's very basic to all hell, but it's still not bad. I love the looks of the like the javelins you use and that kind of stuff, and the customization in them, and like I think they're awesome. It just pisses me off because when I think about it, this isn't a it feels like a developer issue. This was a above the developer issue. You know,
they need more time. It's just they was rushing it.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Anthem. The first couple of weeks, I had that whole 30-minute loading time to go in and out missions where I can actually do chores around the house and come back before I loaded to go outside. And then I could, it was crazy. And like I did everything outside, like all the random events, because I know if I went to a place where I had to load in to go to another area, it'd be another 30 minutes. And it was just done. And I thought I thought it was in my connection or anything like that, but it was actual bug in the game. And that kind of like took the joy out of it, because I love playing Anthem. Like I love the Colossus, if I'm not mistaken. That's the big, heavy Hulk Buster looking one. That's the one I love. Like it was fun. Like I was playing the rockets, the mortar shots, and all that kind of stuff. It's a fun idea. It's just I don't think they had enough time to flesh it out, and that's a lot of games nowadays because they're trying to constantly push games and every year and all this stuff, and just to compete, they need to take the time. That's the one thing I love about Grand Theft Auto. The fact they take so much time. Like I know for a fact when that game comes out, at least the single player is going to be playable. I can't speak for the multiplayer because if I don't know if you played the fifth when it first came out, the online was crashed for the first month and a half. You couldn't do anything. Wow. But they taking their time now. Like their games, they take a long time to make, but when they come out, they're always bangers, and that's a reason they invest so much in the game, and then they not only put the game out, they support it with new DLC, new stuff to come out, and I really wish we can kind of go back to that. Again, I like somebody said on this chat, like we're boomers. I remember back in the day when we bought a game, that game was it. There's no DLC, there's no updates. Like a Nintendo 64 cartridge you play it, that's the game itself. And those games had to be polished. I wish we can go back to those days where they take the time to make sure the game is fully bugs and all fully fleshed out. Yeah.
And I think, we're kind of we're also in like an era where these games are also becoming so big. And this is what happens also. This is just an open world. I know this is an open world issue. Is because it's an open world, you're never going to find the same bugs. And I think they just get patched as they go along. I'm actually happy that games get patched as they go along. I love that. That was one thing that's like, if a game was not good, because this is the one thing I will say always when I hear very much that same sentiment. If a game was not good, it was not good. It didn't have the chance to get better. You just had to be like, hey, we can patch this part up, make it a little bit smoother, smoother ride for y'all. Sometimes developers and the company were just like,
yeah, pretty much. We got your money, so
yep. And now I do like that they can actually go through and be like, hey, we have updates for Spider-Man swinging. It's a little more fluid in this moment. We noticed that there was some issues with this. Let us update this. We got this going for you. You know. But I think you're right in the terms of letting developers do what they're paid to do.
Let them cook.
I made that video about the CEO saying that, like, my goal is to build the best team possible. If that's what he goes, he's like, after that, he's like, I just back the fuck up. Like, you know what? I don't tell people what to do. My goal is just to do it. And there was another CEO that mentioned that too. And this CEO has been around through multiple different other companies. He's been like a higher up in multiple different companies, and he was just like, I'm not. He guy's like 60-some years old. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm not. I put together the best team. I just back up. I let them do what they need to do because that's not my forte.
Right.
And you know what? I said, I know some people were kind of iffy on it, but for me, I actually appreciate that. I'd rather have someone tell me, I don't know. Like, I'm not the greatest when it comes to this game. When it comes to knowing, what games go in, he's like, I don't think, what do you call me? He called being a consumer in chief, is an actual good thing. And right. I was like, it's not. And then like in the back of my head, I'm thinking of Randy Pitchford. Like all I thought the entire time. And I was like, man, this motherfucker just taking shots at Randy for no reason.
I mean, but I think that's, even outside the gaming, I think that makes a sign of a good leader. You put people around you for a reason. Let them cook. Let them do the thing. Great example, Larian with Baldur's Gate 3. Phenomenal game. The game was in early access for like 3-4 years, something like that. Mm-hmm. And people played the hell out the first act. But even when the game still came out, it was still a huge success because he let them cook. They didn't force it out. They didn't get pressured. They finished the game when they finished. And again, they still added updates and all that stuff afterwards, which is perfectly fine. But the overall product, it was playable. It was fun. It was unique. They actually brought a genre that's not known to the public, D&D, and made it a little bit more easy accessible for other people to play. And now you get people who love Baldur's Gate. Now they're willing to try different games. They're looking for the next Baldur's Gate, which honestly, it's going to be a long time before you see that. But I mean, I like stuff like that. Now, I really think it comes from the core of letting the developers cook. Give them the time. You pay them for a reason. Let them give you a product that you're, worth it. Because you get stuff like EA where I really feel like they're just fatigued at this point. They're constantly pushing products out. They're moving people, different teams. They opening up a studio, closing another studio. Like, it's constant turmoil. Like, it's not, morale is shot at that point. And you can't make a good game if morale is shot. I don't care who you are.
No. And I think that's, and that's what bothers somebody with the EA, and especially in the sports games. Battlefield's a little bit different because I feel like, obviously there's more you can do with Battlefield. And there is a very limited thing you can do with sports games. But yeah, I think that, you give developers time to actually develop and do what they want to do. And they will make a good, the developers, the writers, everyone, they'll make a good game. We've seen it over and over, when given the time to. And I understand on the developer, on the business side of it, hey, we have a time crunch. We can't just keep pumping money in constantly and then just never get the product out. But I also believe, and this is my own thing too, I think AAA developers who don't use certain video games anymore, or franchises that you're like, hey, we're not really going back to that. I would wish they would be more willing to dump off some franchises that they are not super with to slightly smaller developers.
That's phenomenal. Because
I think it'd be great. And one I think off the top of my head is the Infamous series.
Oh, I missed that. Oh,
the
man.
Infamous series should. And I think because, one, it gives that new developer a time to put their own spin and twist on the game. Two, I'm also a big believer. I had someone in a I was talking to, I think it was last night or the night before, and they're like, "Oh, they should make Infamous. Rockstar should make Infamous," and I'm like, "Rockstar don't make those kind of games.
No.
That's not their forte." But give it to some smaller developer. Let them cook. Let them see what they can do with an Infamous. And I would you can go as far as say if you don't want to keep it in the same realm of that Infamous, send it to a different place. I don't know, go to Kansas or something. I need to see it like backwater, like Bayou Infamous, where like I have the ability to turn into gators. So
That'd be dope. Gator Man.
Gator Man. So, like,
oh, drink Gatorade or something. I don't know.
it's Gatorade. Like, this is the wrong Gatorade, wasn't it? That's why.
But honestly, I'm gonna take that thought one step further. I wish they released certain mechanics that they copyrighted. And I just made a video about this. And the one that's like, yes, they need to release that because that's bullshit. Other games can benefit so much from this one concept. And I know like the Wonder Woman game that got canceled was supposed to have that, but now it's canceled. Free it. Let other people do. Can you imagine? Like even like a sports game with an enemy system. Like say you cooking somebody so much, they get upset and they start training. And the next game they have elevated overall status because you beat them so much or something like that. Or even just any other RPG where like any open world content.
Elden Ring.
No, see that's already hard as it is. It's already hard as the
Nemesis system.
Oh,
man. It's like so you go back after getting your ass whooped by like Godfrey for like the 8th time, and he just comes back in a fucking mech tank. We couldn't find any other ways to level him up.
No, but that would be so cool. And like, I mean, I get why certain companies try to copyright things, but it hurts the industry. Another example is Pokemon Power World. I actually like Power World. It was kind of fun. I haven't really played it that much, but it was still kind of fun. And they already got sued by Nintendo, and it wasn't because some of them did kind of look similar. I'm not gonna lie. Some of them did look similar, but they didn't sue because of that. They sued because you had to throw a ball out and they popped out of that. Because of that, now when you summon a new power, they just pop beside you instead of coming out of the ball. Like that's stupid. Like if I capture them in the ball, I should be able to throw them out and have it pop out, but it can't because they copyrighted that part. I just think that holds back so much, and I don't know. I feel like it hurts creativity.
Nintendo is petty. Like I'm kind of glad that Nintendo has been taking some flack for some of the ways that they do business because Nintendo gets away with it a lot. A lot of it they get away with is due to the fact that they're a nostalgia company. They are a nostalgia company, and I'm not saying that their games are bad. I think their games are always good. I'm actually to the point where I said that Nintendo doesn't need to go start putting games on other systems because why would I do that? Doesn't make any fucking sense. You wouldn't believe the amount of back and forth I've got with that.
Really?
I've had people like, well, then do you imagine what the graphics would look like on an Xbox? I'm like, do you think Nintendo doesn't fucking care about?
They would kill their business if they gave the games to other consoles. Like, why?
Yeah,
that's the main reason why you buy a Switch.
Like, yeah, but it's not better for me. I was like, but the better I was trying to explain. I'm like, if I had a bakery and I'm the only one who can make cheesecake, why would I give my recipe up? Because it's better for everyone? No, come to me, bitch. Like,
yeah.
You want to bounce randomly on fucking walls? Come play my fucking game. But
I agree with you. That's the main thing. Like, I don't think Nintendo should give up any of their stuff. That's the main selling point. You go there, you get the family fun games, you get Pokemon, Super Smash Brothers, games like that. I mean, like even like I know the new Switch came out. I'm not buying it until Pokemon come out. I'm not doing that. But that's the main reason about it.
Until Smash Bros comes out.
Are they coming out with a new Smash Bros?
Fuck if I know, but I know if I do that I need to know that there's going to be another Smash Bros. I mean, there will be. I'm not going to sit here and lie.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to top the last one though. I love the last one. Ultimate.
I think what they'll do is it's just going to be Ultimate, and then they're just going to add some new characters, and I'm fine with that. Like I want to see what new characters could actually show up. Like I can't think. Astrobot would be fun as fuck, but if you're going to give me Astrobot, actually I want Bomberman.
I want Crash Bandicoot.
Bomberman, Rayman, Shadow the Hedgehog. Like, there's a lot they could do. I could get into that all day. But like, and the Tarnished.
Elden Bros. I would play that and just cry at the same time because I know I'm not gonna beat it.
That game would be so much fun, but annoyingly difficult at the same time. Like, just what, 1 or 2 hits and your character just goes flying off.
Yeah, it'd be great.
I need to see Luigi in like the Tarnished outfit.
Oh, okay, yeah, that'd be dope. Elder Bro Project. Okay, now.
So the problem, I would play that though. Like Mario
Really?
Party with just Elden Ring steamed. Yes, I would.
Again, I feel like I won't do well on that. Just a sad feeling like I would be terrible at it, but it would be fun. It would be fun. Crazy mini games.
A couple drinks in, and I'm totally fine.
See, at that point, I wouldn't care. Getting a couple shots of tequila, I would just at that point I play whatever.
Oh yeah, like, it doesn't matter. Like Wii bowling. Like I someone said, like, have you ever played Wii bowling? And I'm like, who hasn't played Wii Sports?
That was the only game I played. Really,
like, dude, like I was like, I'm like, I don't think I was like when I was in my live, it was in my live earlier today, and I was like, I don't think some of y'all realize how amazing Wii Sports actually was.
And didn't it come with the console?
Yes, it did.
I believe that's the only game I can vividly remember. I spent hours on hours, like me and my whole family, bowling, tennis, baseball. I can't think of anything else right now. What was it? Was it golf? No, was it golf in there? Or am I thinking something else?
Yeah, golf, baseball, tennis, boxing.
Yes. Yes. I broke a TV on that accidentally because I let it go. Those straps are important. Make sure you have those straps.
Oh no, yeah, no, like Hot Shots ring, Hot Shots. Like they need to go in all the directions with this franchise. Like we got our roguelike, we got our party game, we got our racing. But yeah, I think that overall though, I think when it comes to, games like Nintendo just brings like a positive light when it comes to, so everyone kind of gives it a pass. And then you realize that they haven't dropped the sales on any of their fucking games in like how many fucking years, And
they never will.
They don't. And I get it. They don't have to.
And they make so much money because like you can never just buy one Switch if you have kids because they don't share. And so and then you
have kids, I'm guessing?
No, not yet. We will. I have a niece.
Oh, nice.
And she doesn't like playing with anybody like that. So but you have to buy multiple Switches, and then now with the new one, if I'm not mistaken, like you can share games, but you only one person can play at one time. So that form, if you want to play Mario Party, you have 2 different Switches. You got to buy Mario Party twice or something like that. And again, you spend so much money. Like don't get me wrong, I got the new PlayStation, I have the Xbox, I have a gaming PC. I still feel like I spend my most money on the Switch stuff, and I don't know why. It just piles up so fast, all the accessories and all the extra stuff. And that's I'm kind of waiting on the Switch to. I mean, I could have bought it now, but I was like, there's no game I really want to play on it right now.
No, I would agree with that. My Switch right now is I'm going to have to go get a new one because the little, I don't know, it's like the fan or whatever in there just not working and it overheats like crazy. Wow. So rip. But like, and I think that when it comes to the way that Nintendo does their business, I actually can't complain too much. I actually love that fact as when Nintendo did the Direct and they were showing the Switch, I went and I had a friend of mine who has like 2 or 3 kids, and so I was like, okay, so based on this, how do you think it is? And he said, it's yes, as a parent, the whole sharing stuff is absolutely amazing.
Really?
Yes, because he's like, I can, only have, I can have multiple Switches. They can play. I can buy the games, and then I don't really have to play them. Like, he's like, they can share in between them doing whatever. So I don't have to go buy, all these multiple ones. And I'm like, that makes sense. And so as a parent, I guess I get it.
Okay. Can't fault that.
No.
I know when I eventually have kids, and I mean, I hope they into game like me, but I know that it's just more in my wallet, and I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing at this point. But I mean, I definitely love Nintendo. As much as I crap on it, you know, they make some solid games. I love the Fire Emblem Three Houses, one of my favorite games.
I've played
Outside
that.
of you never? Oh my
No,
goodness.
I've
It
only played Engage, and I was like, this is fine.
No. So with the Three Houses, the reason why I like it because you know you're basically a teacher and you essentially you there's three houses you can join. I forgot the house off the top of my head right now, but basically in that game itself, like you're training and raising up the kids and stuff like that. Like it's two parts to the story. The first part is like everybody's at school, and then the second part, I don't want to ruin for it, but something major happens, and then there's like a huge war and all that kind of stuff. But kids can die, the students can die. And it's like you could play where you know if they not get knocked out, they just get knocked out, they won't die. But I play on the real, if they die, they die. So like it's very like you build in relationship with students and all this kind of stuff just for like you mess up one time and get surrounded and just get wiped out. That's everything. But it's a fun game, you know. And you can recruit, like you have this one house, then you can go to other houses and recruit certain students and say, hey, come to this side, and they switch. It's a really fun game. Something I do recommend if you get your Switch fix. Story is phenomenal on it, but again, they got great games like that. And sometimes people don't think of Switch, they think of like Mario, Pokemon, all this stuff, but they have some really great RPGs as well. Well, JRPGs, I should say.
I'll have to try it. Like the way that you said build up and then they can die remind me of Expedition 33, and I'm like, we're off on the adventure, like hell yeah, and then they get on the island and it's like, nah.
See, I feel like you have a chance with Three Houses. Expedition, they didn't have a chance. The fact that that guy walked that close to the other dude, I was like, well, why are you talking to him? Like he's by himself on an island that is supposed to be nobody. I'm not talking to that person. That's my, but again,
No,
that's
I was actually this game does not understand horror because that black guy did not dip right away.
I'm telling you, I was so happy. And my wife was like, why are you screaming? Like, because he didn't die. And then, of course, 5 seconds later. But
yeah, he just boom. He I was like, let me guess, your voice actor doesn't make enough.
I was so happy. I was like, he saved him. That's fantastic. But then, of course, he get wiped out. Like, come on now.
Oh, yeah,
that first opening scene, that scene was amazing, though. It was like it set the tone. That game is my game of the year. I don't know what's coming out quite yet on top of my head, but I don't see anything topping that.
If you want to play one with so it's just the demo right now, but I think it's one of my a sleeper hit, not for the game of the year necessarily, but just a sleeper hit just because it was a fantastic game. Or so far from what I played. And that's Dispatch.
I've seen that online. Yes, I definitely. I'm on my computer now. I'm gonna download and play. That looked phenomenal. That looked actually voice acting alone was amazing.
Can't be true. I think. Oh my god, that makes me wonder now. Like how many just bad jokes you could make just from that scene alone. Dad, there's some old guy staring at us in the woods. God dang it. But getting back to Dispatch, please do. It's like only like a half hour long, but it is amazing.
It has some funny jokes. When I saw it, because I was playing in the background, I was at work, and I had to turn it down because some of the stuff they were saying. But that looked funny. I mean, low-key, I don't like Tall Tale series to be completely honest, but I will play this.
Oh yeah, no, it was absolutely amazing. Definitely worth the time. That was because I mean when I really look at it, like this year, like kind of wrapping up a bit here. This year, between Ghost of Yotai, like actually just in general, the games coming out, what are you looking forward to the most?
Well, you say Ghost of Yotai, definitely. I love Ghost of Tsushima. Definitely want to see what Ghost of Yotai is. I mean, I know people are not liking it because the protagonist, but I don't care. He got 2 samurai swords. That's enough for me right there.
I mean, no, that's anyone who's still bitching about that.
I don't get it at this point.
It's forced hatred. It is. It's that's what it comes down to. It's forced hatred. Because I've been working on a video about the Hunter Schafer whole situation of her playing Zelda, and I'm like, I don't fucking care, to be honest. I really don't. It's another actress playing Zelda, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, women can't wield 2 samurai swords,
and that's the argument they're using because they're not strong enough to hold 2 swords.
I mean, a lot of men are also not strong enough to hold 2 samurai.
I don't know if I can.
But like,
effectively, I can't find
a person on there talking about The Last of Us 2, and it was about the character of Abby, and be like, in a dystopian future, it's not really all that possible to hold up. What was it? To have arms the size of that Abby's have in that world alone, and I was like, are you fucking serious? Like. Like it just takes me out of the game. Like the fact that she can bench more than you, like you insecure man, baby. Like
that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
I can't wait for them to be like, women can't be around wolves. Ghost of Yotai is like, oh man.
But back to your original question. So Ghost of Yotai, Crimson Desert. That game is supposed to be coming out this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Crimson Desert.
Have you seen that? Look it up. It looks phenomenal. It's from the makers of Black Desert.
We're just jumping desert colors.
Well, at first I thought it was like going to be a continuation, but I think they say they're making it more to like a single player experience this time.
Okay.
So I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Black Desert. It's a lot to do. It's an MMO, and the last MMO I really, really was into like 100% was ESO. Ever since then, I try to get into these other MMOs, and I play for like maybe a week or 2. But then it gets like super, super, super grindy. Like the story doesn't resonate with me and all that. Maybe I'm different now because I'm older and story, I don't have that much free time and I don't want to keep doing the same quest 10 times just to get some supplies. But Crimson Desert, again, it looks great. The combat looks phenomenal. It looks like it's going to be open world. I mean, you riding a dragon, shooting fire down at somebody, that's always going to win in my book.
No, it looks like fun.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Seeing these little bits and clips and stuff, and I'm like, okay, because I didn't mind. I'm not a big MMO person. I'm not a big MMO person, but like when I played Crimson Desert, I thought it was interesting. Like, I just didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So
I would say I didn't think I was an MMO person until I played ESO, and that's actually I met some of my closest friends now, and actually, we meet up and hang out with. And it's if you get a solid group of people to play with you, it's super fun at that point. Like when I was really active, I actually made a guild, something I never would do again, but I made a guild. We had over like 100-some people in it. And it was fun doing dungeons and all. Well, let me say 100 people, but only like really 25 people really talked. Everybody else was just there. Yeah, it's great. I would never do it again, though. I can't do that. Just all the complaining and all the extra stuff. I just like to get on the game and play. And that's when I was in college too. No, it wasn't this age. It was a long time ago. 2010 or something like that. But no, it's when you have a solid group of people you can actually play with, it makes it a little bit more manageable. So especially when you have dedicated roles like a healer, a tank, all this extra stuff, it was fun. But this one, again, I think they said it was a single player game, where the combat definitely has looked like it improved. It kind of reminded me of I can't think of the game right now, but the combat again, great. They had a lot of moves. You can suplex people and all that kind of stuff, and it's great. So I think that's the two at the top of my head. Oh, the anime fan in me, Eden Zero. That game's coming out. I know that's not gonna be game of the year, but that's just I like the anime. I'm gonna play it.
I've never watched Eden Zero.
What? Have you watched Fairy Tail?
Briefly, not a whole lot of it, but I think I mean, I think it's the same person who wrote it, right?
Yeah,
it looks exactly the same. Like the art style looks identical.
I like it.
It's got space, isn't it? It's like space fairy tale.
It's space anime. He's trying to make 100 friends and stuff. That's where he starts off as, but then now he's trying to meet somebody named, is it Goddess? I can't remember now. I'll talk about it. But that's the whole thing is, and it's a lot. It's about space, but also time travel. And I don't want to spoil that for you, but it's a solid story. But if you had a hard time getting into Fairy Tail, you might not be able to get into Eden Zero.
Fairy Tail is one of those that I kind of wish that I got into when it was coming out. It's kind of like how I understand how people feel about Naruto
and One Piece.
Yeah, I would say I don't think they're bad shows. I just think like if you were there when they first came through, it's a lot easier to digest.
Mm-hmm.
Although being an adult, I can see a lot of stuff differently than I can when I was a kid. Because like Rock Lee versus Gaara's fight is one of those as a kid. I'm like, oh my god, that was my first intro to being like, this is anime.
I'm trying to think. My first intro to anime outside of Toonami. If you remember that in Cartoon Network, Dragon Ball Z. I'm trying to get outside of that.
Because I don't kind of like the Yu-Gi-Ohs and Pokemon. I don't, because I mean, yes, they are anime technically, but I didn't really consider them that. It was definitely the Gaara versus Rock Lee when he opens up like the fifth game, and like I'm just like
that was amazing. For me, it was when he dropped the weights. The weights. I was like, yo, what? That was amazing. Gundam. I forgot about Gundam. I've watched Gundam. Gundam was the first one. Was amazing. But I think when I really realized it was anime, like you said, was Naruto. That's when I was like, okay, this look kind of cool. I remember going online, watching episodes to catch up to it. That's when I really started like anime. Now I watch it all the time, more than I do like regular shows, to be honest. I have my Crunchyroll account, High Dive, everything's on my Apple TV, and I just queue it up, especially when I'm working from home. Have that in the background.
Hamtaro.
Hamtaro, wow.
I think because I it's hard for me to do a lot of like anime, especially I don't binge typically. Like I like to, if I have the chance to week, I'm gonna do a week to week. But like the last one I binged was Free Run, and I was like, this is one. I loved it. I loved every ounce of it.
I'm surprised they didn't win.
Well, apparently, from what I heard, is okay. So a couple things. One, so this is just all hearsay, but like they were actually talking about Solo Leveling season 1, not season 2, but it never actually stated season 2. It just said Solo Leveling. So people voted for Solo Leveling based off of season 2, not season 1. On top of that, Crunchyroll is the one who worked on fucking it and Solo Leveling.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I could give a fuck about. I'm not gonna lie to you. I could kind of give a fuck about like awards, like the Game of the Year award. I don't really care. Like I was like, to be honest with you, like whatever game comes out that I really enjoy it like that much for that year, that's the Game of the Year for me.
I get what you're saying with that. I'm play the advocate on that because. I mean, I don't care for awards that much, but I do like it when like deserving developers and stuff get honored for their work. Like when Baldur's Gate won it, I think they deserved it. You know, it was a phenomenal game that brought people in. So, but a lot of times it's just, you know, the big companies winning it. There's some times I don't think they deserve to win it, to be honest. And I definitely get why you say that you don't care for the awards, but I do like it when they honor the right people.
That's fair. And I think when it comes to like the awards ceremonies, like a lot of them, I feel like are corporate anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like even as a fan, you know, when Baldur's Gate 3 won, and the Spider-Man 2 fans were like, you know, like, and I'm like, it doesn't mean that your games are bad. If I am, you know, if I'm in the running for the Heisman and I don't win, it doesn't mean that I was bad.
Right. You just didn't win.
Yeah.
You're still a great player. You're still going to get drafted. Like, that's the ultimate goal. Like one piece should define your whole career. It's just I like, giving credit where credit's due.
No, and that's
But
fair.
unfortunately, like you said, it's very corporate, so that typically doesn't happen all the
Oh
time.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like that's why I said I think I know me and Jack in here were talking about it, and it was like very much like because of the hype and all that. It also depends on where you are as an audience. Japanese culture is going to be different than American culture. American culture is very much boom boom explosions. Like you see like let's say Rock Lee versus Dara, and it's like, oh my gosh, Naruto's shooting literal just nukes out of a fox mouth, and and that's just great. It's a lot different than maybe someone else over in Japan who likes the slower beats and all that,
like the slice of life and all that.
Yep, and that's what made me love Free Run, was because when the fights did happen, they were amazing, they were well done, but that's not the point of the show. Like, and right now I was watching My Happy Marriage, and I was like, it was on Netflix. I'm like, this is good.
I haven't seen that.
It was good. It was a little sad. Season 1 definitely is. Season 2 is not as good as season 1. But it's still a good show. I still enjoy it. The Saga of Tanya the Evil.
That's good.
That one that was hilarious. It's just there's so many good ones.
I like Gate. A lot of people don't talk about the Gate. Have you seen that?
Like Steins Gate and stuff?
No, just Gate.
Mm-mm.
It's the concept is basically a gate opening up in Japan to another world, and basically how the world will react. So they actually have like Japanese military go over and cross over, and it's a world where they have dragons and swords and magic, but then we have tanks and guns. So there's really no match because we can wipe out everybody before they even get close to us. But it's not just about the fighting. It's actually like the character development. Like this one guy who's very into like, anime and all that stuff. He's like a lieutenant. And every time he's trying to be lazy, he only got the job to pay for his hobbies and stuff. But every time like he's in a situation, he solves it. They give him promotions, they give him extra responsibilities, and he's just like, I don't want this. I just want to chill and play my games. But it's a really heartwarming story. It's like 20 some episodes, I think. Is it 20? Okay. It's a decent. It's one season. They're not going to extend it, but that's like one of my, like every now and then I'll go and watch. It's not my favorite anime. It's just a really good anime. Nice. I really like Reincarnated as a Slime, but I think because I read the manga.
That's fair. See, I only watched a few episodes of it. It's one of those I think I don't know if this ever happens to you, but like I get caught when I start watching anime, and then I get caught watching another anime, and I start watching another one, and I start watching it, I get lost, and that one got lost in the sauce for me. Sometimes I get, if I feel like the anime is taking too long, I'll just jump straight into the manga.
Yeah,
I did that with Naruto. I did it with Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm not going to sit here and wait 3 years for season 3. I learned my lesson from Attack on Titan. Like,
how many final seasons does Attack on Titan have? Isn't it like
enough where it's basically pulled the Final Destination?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was like 4 of them. It was just like, this is the final season part 1, and I'm like, what do you mean final season part 1? Oh yeah, we also have a movie.
that's they just milking it at that point.
Oh yeah, and that's why like there's a lot like that, but I hope they never do that again.
But I would say for Slime, it takes a couple episodes, especially for the first season, to actually get really, really good. Once you get past that, I mean, it's definitely worth it. The manga really tells more of it. But I could definitely see the first part was very grindy, especially when he's trying to figure out what he's trying to do and all the other stuff. Like once he decides, like, hey, I'm gonna be this and fuck everybody else, I don't care what y'all doing, don't mess with me or mine. That turns out really great. But yeah, that's one of my favorites. But I think that's because of the manga.
That's fair. Because he does like Rimuru. I know Reincarnated as a Slime does get really dark after a while.
I mean, it's not his fault though, because he's trying to just exist, but other countries like, oh, we can't have a country full of monsters, or they can't be the trade capital of the nation. And it's like other people, it's inviting trouble, and he just solving it. He I don't know. It's a great story, especially when he gets crazy powers. And at one point, he gets just ridiculous. I think that's in the light novel and all that stuff, and it just like get ridiculous overpowered and all that stuff. And that's what it kind of loses me a little bit. But like the main part of the story of him just really trying to protect his own, and then somehow he's getting stronger because he has to protect his loved ones. I can relate to that.
Yeah, I mean, once you like, it's all fun and games until you got to start squaring up. That's why I love with Jujutsu Kaisen, because one of my favorite things is hand-to-hand fights.
I like how they jump people.
Oh yeah,
like there's no waiting. Like I hated with Dragon Ball. Like a lot of the issues, like when Vegeta and Goku was fighting, if they would just fight together, could have solved it. But Jujutsu Kaisen do really great fight scenes. I really like that.
And that's why I loved it. Because I don't know, have you read the manga?
No, not yet. Not yet.
So yeah, and there's a lot, especially coming up here. There's a lot of bits and pieces that are just hands, and I'm just like, dude, I love just hand fights like that, just hand to hand. Let's do this. Like Yuji's a prime example of just a fucking punch kick merchant, but it works. Like, and I'm like, I love that. I love a good animation fight. I love good choreography. But like, I feel like when it comes to, it might not have the greatest story, but I feel like it's always solid. That's what I always recommend. And I think I realize as I get older, I'm trying to branch off into different categories.
I would say that for me. I used to love the action, always fighting, all that kind of stuff. But now I see myself watching slice stuff. Like what's that one that came out of Crunchyroll? Oh, can a boy-girl relationship survive or something like that? I catch myself watching that. In the past, I would never watch. Like, this is dumb. But now I'm like, oh, I'm interested. Let's see what's gonna happen when he introduces somebody else. So I see that as I'm getting older, my taste is changing. I'm trying to new things and experiencing some things that I would consider boring in my past self. But that's the great thing about anime. It's constantly new stuff coming out, new things, and there's something for everybody. That's why I don't get, like, when I was growing up, I didn't understand the hate for anime. Back then, like, people used to joke on you if you said you watched Naruto or anything like that. Nowadays, everybody love it apparently, but back in the day, it was definitely a little bit more of a struggle.
No, absolutely. Okay, what is this? I'm gonna manga playing hero here. Basically, the very first half is for the people of culture and artificial and actual intelligence. Afterwards, it starts to work for the more unga bunga DBZ brainwashed. That's fair.
Yeah, I'll say that's a fair take.
Yeah, like I said, don't know. I never watch it, but I do. I agree. Like, I start going through a lot of shows that I naturally wouldn't. I think the hate for anime, it's same thing. It reminds me of the same thing as the hate for video games when they were beforehand. Oh, they're gonna rot your brain, and they're fucking terrible. Why would you do this? Why would you watch this, or why would you play that? And it's just, they're the same people. This is why I understand to an extent why some anime fans do get a little like testy when it comes to some of the stuff that some of these people are saying, especially if you've heard that for a long time. If you've for a long time, all you've heard has been anime sucks, anime, it's terrible, blah blah blah. Especially, God forbid, depending on what kind of household you grew up in.
True.
It could be, it could be, the family is like, no, we would never let you do this. You know what I mean? So it taints your view on it, and yet anime is more popular than ever.
That's how times is. Like, I know growing up I can't speak great about it, but growing up black home, he didn't. My dad didn't really understand gaming. He got me the game system, but then he saw how much I played it. He was like, "Oh, you can't make a career out of this. You can't do that. You can't do this." And of course, if that's the case, then I had to stop. He took the game system away from punishment and all that kind of things. But it kind of makes me wonder, like, what if I pursued that? Because I was really good. I'm terrible now, but I was actually really good, like with Super Smash Brothers, Nintendo 64. What if I kept playing like that? Because nowadays there's tournaments, there's people that make millions and millions of dollars playing video games. But again, back then we couldn't imagine that. We couldn't imagine making money playing video games.
No.
And that's kind of something I want to think when I have my own kids. Like, I don't want to say they can't do something, because now we're in a world where anything's really possible. There's people making money doing yo-yo tricks, making millions of views on YouTube, just throwing a yo-yo and all around. And I can't do it. I don't understand it, but it works for them. So
Right.
that's one thing you gotta think of. Like, if you have a passion for something, forget everybody else. Forget the noise. Do it, because you can turn that into something. You can turn it into anything. Just keep doing whatever you want to do.
Exactly. And I think that, I remember like my dad, I was watching Naruto, and he was like, "Why are you watching this? This is stupid."
Mm-hmm.
And it was my mom and my two brothers and then me. And I turned and looked at my dad, and I'm like, "You watch people shooting deer for sport." And so I just went back and just kept on watching, and he just walked out of the room like there was nothing. Like
You can't say nothing to that.
It's true. Oh, excuse me.
But
he came. He just couldn't. What's a dad?
No, I saw that. I glanced in the corner of my eye.
Oh, Jack, this isn't time for trauma. But like, but I think that's something when parents, and I learned growing up too, is like when parents don't understand stuff, the first thing you should not do is this is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time this is bad. No, don't do that. Like, and we see that, like I said, we saw that with video games.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that with anime. Anime's fucking terrible, blah blah blah. But yet then I'm like, didn't you guys watch Scooby-Doo growing up? Well, we learned actual stuff, and then God forbid, I remember my dad got pissed because I was watching Naruto, and it was one time where Tsunade showed up.
Wow.
And why are you guys watching this? Like, go back to the other room, Dad. Like, the fuck, like, But it was just like, it was Jack, you're so right. God forbid, talk to your kid about and actually engage with it. I think it's one of the things that a lot of parents didn't do that I think they should have done was engaging more into the whole topic of what's okay, what's not. Watch the show with them. Kids are going to respond a lot more when you watch the show with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I agree.
I'm not gonna lie, the way that like my parents taught, you swear I was watching like some sort of stuff film. Like, it was just like, and I'm like, all I'm watching is this one kid beat the shit out of this other kid with different.
They never see that part. They always see Tsunade coming in or Jiraiya peeping on the bathroom or something. It's always the worst possible time. That's when parents came in.
Yeah, like, I can't believe you're watching this, and I'm like, well, if you watch the rest of it.
Yeah, you saw he just literally killed 20 guys. Like, it's a really good ending.
Well, and it's like at the top of it too, I was like, you do realize this is on Toonami, which is a legitimate channel network that have to fall under guidelines of what they can put out and what they can't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, this isn't XXX. Like, and so I think would always, now when I look back at it, and it's like, well, I don't really understand it. But if you're not gonna take the time to understand it, then all you're doing is, to me, you're wasting an opportunity to go be with your kid and figure out what they like. That's the most important thing.
It is.
So I wish more parents would.
I think it like I said, it starts with us. We're the next generation. We just take what we saw, and I know people always say about gentle parenting and all that. It's not just that. It's just understanding. Take an interest in what your kid like. If they like Coco Melon, whatever that thing's called, like, okay, why you like it? It might sound stupid to you. You might not get it, but just sit there, let the kid explain why they like it. Maybe get a different perspective of it. I wish my parents did that for gaming. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's very true. Like, it's gonna take this, this generation to the next generation to be like, to sit down. And I agree with you. To sit down and be like, why? Why do you like this? Instead of just saying this is just crap and then just turning it off. Be there showing your kids, what do your kids like? What do your kids' hobbies are? because too many parents want to just dip off with it, and then later on they realize they don't know their kid at all.
Right.
Like it's unfortunate when it happens. But all right, we're gonna wrap this one. I want them always at the end because I appreciate you being here as always. Like I also want to say too, I appreciate you also because like I said, I had to kind of rush everything at the last second.
You're fine.
But shit, I was gonna say that about the gentle parenting. Yes, like oh my god, like gentle parenting. Also, I want to say real quick here is not the same thing as just passive parenting.
Right.
And I know too many people who think they're the same thing. And I'm like, no, it's not. Holy shit. But I want to know, where can they find you?
So again, I'm just starting out, so you can find me definitely in TikTok under HERODREGAMING, but also YouTube just under HERODRE. Again, my content is based around gaming, mostly RPGs, but also just coming from the average gamer perspective. You know, the people who go to work, come out and try the game in the short sessions that we allow to. So that's all about. That's all my content right now.
I also want to mention too before I forget about this one. I did see that video of you explaining was it Mass Effect to your wife?
Yes. No, that's her trying to explain it to me.
Oh, she's trying to explain it to you. I thought that was hilarious. Because my wife would have been like, "This is fucking dumb. I don't know why you're having me do this."
Well, the problem that she played it. But I thought she was talking about the whole time. I told her to do all of Mass Effect. I think she only played Mass Effect 2 and then the very last one. And I didn't know which one she was explaining half the time. Like I cut it up, but it was a lot of ums. But you know, I love her to death, but she cannot explain any video game. She just played it just because it's fun at the time. I think she's playing Divinity Sins right now. I think, but she could not explain it to me.
I feel that. But Ireland, I appreciate you being out here. You guys all know where you can catch me the same way. TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. I started up on Threads now too.
Nice.
Because I think that one's going to be another one that's going to slowly kind of up and up. So that one's going to be a big one too. And then obviously my Discord and all the other good stuff. I cannot get over this fucking cold. Holy shit. But with all that being said, everyone, I'm Taylor from Afro Official G, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one.
See you.